One of the virtues mentioned in the Torah is love. We find in the second paragraph of Shema Yisrael, Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha bechol levavcha. You have to love God with your heart, with all your heart, with all your means, with everything that is available to you. It says, Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. You have to love your neighbor as yourself. It says in the Torah, Ve'ahavtem et hager. You have to love the stranger. Ki gerim heyitem be'eretz Mitzrayim, because you were also strangers in the land of Egypt. Even though you were enslaved eventually in the beginning, they gave you the possibility to live, to eat, because there was hunger in the land of Israel at that time. You were able to survive because we went to Egypt. In any event, there is two types of love, says the Alter Rebbe, the founder of the Lubavitch movement, Rabbi Shneur Zalman. He says there is a love that is comparable to water, that is steady, it flows evenly at all times. In the morning when you get up and you can do everything that you want to do, that you're supposed to do, that you can breathe, that you are alive, that's the kind of love that is constant. God renews this world every day. Without the presence of God, we simply wouldn't exist. So this is a kind of fluid love that is constant at all times. But there is also a love, says the Rebbe, that can be comparable to esh, to fire. When our ancestors were in Egypt and they couldn't resist anymore slavery and they wanted to go out into freedom, it was God who came down to earth and liberated them from the chains of slavery. That was a manifestation of this love of esh, of this love of fire that is exceptional. And that love that is exceptional isn't constant. Sometimes it may be too intense, sometimes it isn't sufficiently so. And I want to ask you, what kind of world are we living today? Are we living today in a world that is even fluid like water, or is it an exceptional moment in the world? Well, there were exceptional moments in Jewish history during the Middle Ages, when entire cities were burned, where women were violated, where people were simply assassinated. Khmelnytsky, the Crusades, and other episodes, and of course the worst of them all was the Holocaust. These are exceptional events where exceptional love is required on our part, on God's part, and we have to somehow retribute that as well. How do we do something for God when we need something exceptional? The only thing we can do is the study of Torah, because the study of Torah brings us closer to God. But in these days, the exceptional times in Israel on the one hand has a normal life, beautiful, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, flourishing, but at the same time we have all types of scuds, and who knows what kind of missiles are falling right now indiscriminately all over the land of Israel. So it's a time for exceptional love that we have to respond to Israel. I remember the words of Menachem Begin, and I mentioned them already. What can you learn from the Holocaust? He said, from the Holocaust you can learn without any doubt that every Jew has to learn how to defend himself. During the Holocaust, maybe it was very difficult. It was almost impossible in most situations. But today, the events are different. The circumstances are totally other. Today we have Tzahal. Today we have an extraordinary group of young men and women in Israel that are ready to give their lives to save the population that is now the
target.
To save the population that is the target of all these missiles. Of course, there is a defense, there is an iron dome, but we still need to pray to God that every time a missile tries to enter a populated area, that this anti-missile system should function as well. What can we do? Well, we who are not in Israel, we have to pray. We have to help them. We have to say, is there anything we can do for you? I know of organizations that are sending representatives to Israel as a sign of solidarity, to be with them in the time of trouble, in the time of difficulty. So we at least should pray with greater fervor. We should study Torah with greater fervor. And our brethren in Israel have to know that we are always with them, not only in mind, but in spirit, through our means as well. And we will always will be with them in the future as well.